Warning. The medical views expressed in this podcast are for entertainment purposes only and are not necessarily the opinions of medical professionals. They are the views of paranoid hypochondriacs, so if you actually have concerns, please see an actual doctor.
Hello, and welcome to our third and probably our last podcast.
If you have
a
minor discomfort in your upper chest,
and you
immediately assume it's a cardiac arrest. Oh, doctor, please give me an answer. Got this pain in my left ball and I just know that it's cancer. Now all of our doctors are feeling harassed, so this is probably our last pod.
Sounds like pneumonia.
Probably our last podcast.
Hey. Hi.
Hey!
Hey, you
Haven't
guys.
seen you in a while. Good
That's
afternoon.
fun. It's like we just spawned into the... That's how we get here. Hey! Yeah.
Just started playing this game.
Yeah. So, how you been, guys?
I've been dying.
Yeah.
No, that's bad. I haven't been dying. I've been well, actually. I've been healthy. I've been good. I've been feeling well. How about you? Is everybody healthy, first and foremost?
I think so.
I've just gotten over a serious bout of thinking I was dying, like a
How
really
does a
bad one.
hypochondriac even say that confidently?
No.
I think so is the answer.
Yeah, no.
Pretty much.
I think so.
Yeah. No, I swear to God, it's only been the past couple of days where I've been convinced that I didn't have a brain tumor.
Wait,
Really?
the same thing?
The same thing, yeah, it was lingering.
Dude, we talked about this. I ripped the shit out of you for this and you still were worried about it.
I thought, because I had nosebleeds and then the headaches, and it was this weird headache because it was sometimes in the top of the head and sometimes I shook my head and it felt like it was hurting.
Oh, dude, I have those things, those
Dude.
kind of things all the time where I go, man, if I lean backwards and twist my neck like this, it really hurts.
And dude,
like
I
I should
go-
go to the
Oh,
doctor.
yeah, it's
And
like-
I tell my
literally-
mom, she goes, well, don't fucking
Don't
do that.
Don't
fucking
shake
do
your
that,
head, your
then.
brain is rattling in your skull. But
If I hit my head against this wall, it's kind of painful.
Does it feel good?
But I want to tell you the how far my neuroses goes with this. Like it engulfed me.
New
And-
word. Thanks from Alex. Neuroses. He's the word.
Well,
bank.
neuroses is plural. Neurosis is...
See, you used it wrong.
I have many neurosis episodes.
Hang on.
You would say I have many episodes of neuroses.
You would say. I would say I have many neurosis episodes. It got so bad to the point where it would just be constantly. I'd be thinking. I kept pulling my hair because it felt good.
That's something
Because it
we
released
probably
the
shouldn't
tight-
discuss
it
on this
released-
Ooh,
podcast.
we're getting into a new
It's a different
different
realm
podcast
of
here.
Yeah, where's our kinky?
what you do in your own time,
jingle?
man, with
We're
your
gonna have
own
a little
hair. It's
strap
up
with
to
a
you.
wah.
I mean,
Hey,
let's take
hypochondriacs
this out
can
of
get
this room.
kinky.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
well.
Okay, let
Thank
me
you.
finish it.
Really? Do you have to do that here?
My head was feeling tight, and so it would relieve the tension in my head, and I thought, oh, this is really bad. And I have this thing called postnasal drip. Did I mention this the last time? And it drips down, but also if you have a brain tumor, there's a drainage that can happen that down the back of your throat, the same as postnasal drip. Also, there's a blockage. It says that there would be a blockage in your nose. I've been using this saline nasal mist, and it's supposed to come out the other nostril.
Jonah.
Not one. Shh. Let me finish. Not once has it come out the other nostril. So I've been thinking I was dying for a
Jonah.
long time. It's only recently, literally, I would like to say, yesterday morning I was in the shower and I finally let myself think, I'm going to make it.
Jonah, you don't have a brain
I'm
tumor.
going to live. Wait, I'm letting you, this is what the podcast
No, I know.
about.
I'm telling you don't have a brain tumor, so you can relax.
And
okay?
it's the same thing. It's like, I could see the doctor like going there and like, why the fuck did you leave it so
Why
long?
didn't you come in sooner?
Why didn't you come in sooner? Like, I see everything. And I think it's what hypochondriac does is you turn all your attention inwards and you will find something. That you will find a feeling. That's the only difference, is that people who aren't hypochondriacs aren't looking to find a feeling. Like, you can look inside your head right now and try and feel what's going on up there and get worried about a certain tinge.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, I think, one of the tenets of being a hypochondriac is hearing about something and then going, oh, that sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have that.
And then looking it up.
Let's get
because
philosophical here.
who's
on
philosophical?
a really deep level. I was starting to think about, just as you were talking, I wasn't zoning out, but it did make me think about
Thank you.
He's
You
like,
know,
I
like-
wasn't not listening to what
I wasn't
you were
not
saying.
listening,
really
but there
hard
was a
question.
portion where I was just not listening.
If
and
he's
thinking
not
about my own
interrupting
thing.
someone, he's probably not listening to them. That's how I knew he'd stop
You
listening.
know what, Jonah? In one of the previous podcasts, as I was editing, it really made me laugh. I'm telling a story, and Jonah's over there being an idiot, going, come on. And he's finishing my story for me. And then a few minutes later, Jonah's telling a story that feels like it's been going on for a year. And the space is ridiculous. He's telling this story that should have been said in
This
30
one's been going
seconds.
on for quite a while.
This isn't a story. This is me ripping you a new asshole.
Hear that?
Okay.
Brotherly love.
Brother, that's slightly different.
Well, then
can
let me
sense
finish.
the tension.
Yeah, there's anal tension.
Feel the oh my god.
You did it.
I didn't say that.
You handed it to him on a silver fucking platter.
Okay, my point was I was getting philosophical. I was thinking, you know,
Who is
all
he?
these diseases have to be discovered and they have to be named, and you know, and like there's been a point in years to come that people didn't know what some of this stuff was, and what I'm saying is,
What does that mean?
what I'm saying is,
There's
right,
been
when
a
you're talking about a
point
brain
in
tumor,
years.
right? When you're talking about brain tumor, you talk about any illness ever, any word in the English language, any condition we had to discover, and scientists had and doctors had to identify, and we're probably discovering new illnesses all the time and new diseases. My point is
Get to it.
getting so deep, so back, and you know, so deep,
No, so deep, so back.
in time, guys. Let me be philosophical and just let me.
so
How
back.
can we have a
Let me
podcast
get-
when we can't string
Guys,
sentences together?
Guys, let me get so back for a second because I want to get back in time.
Get back. Get
Okay,
really
let
deep
me
and
get back, please.
Get back.
Yeah, get with it.
Back
get
in
with it.
time. Basically, what I'm trying to say is the
Yeah.
world and what the sentence is.
Are you
having a stroke?
what I'm trying to say?
I'm having a
Shut up,
strong.
please.
I'm having a strong.
Bundulance.
What if we are the illness?
What? Like, wait, is this like some...
This is a philosophical shit here. I'm talking about like
mean
you know
we're-
like those
humans are the virus and the world
yes,
is trying to
like you know like
eradicate
in
us?
those in supervillain movies when a guy's on the chair and he's planning to kill everybody and he goes,
We are the disease of humanity. Humans shouldn't exist. And we will eradicate us to save the cows and to save the planet.
Okay, so Ian McDermott wants to save cows now.
And that is what. Is that a serious
Question?
it's not a serious question, but it did make me think about the planet, and it made me think about the
Decrease the surplus population.
exactly perfect quote. But you know, we like Joaquin Phoenix, the Oscars. I don't know when this is uploaded, but the Oscars in our reality just happened yesterday, and Joaquin
Christian,
Phoenix
I
is.
just want to let you know,
Where's
we are
this
not
going?
broadcasting to other realities. This only is in
How
our
do you know?
reality. I don't know.
Anchor distributes everywhere.
not
This
to other realities. Distribution.
What if I
What
was
do you
having-
mean in our reality?
Okay, hang on. Let me
Are
just
you
put a
okay?
hypothetical out. I
I
don't
want to
know.
know.
What if I
Are
was
you
having a
okay?
stroke right now? How would you feel? What if I started
I
to
feel fine.
speak
You're the one having a
complete
stroke.
gibberish?
Yeah.
And you're there laughing, going, "Oh, distribution."
Why
and
is
I'm-
the table? Why are the tables being turned?
Why
like
is
this
the
all-
table?
Why is the table being turned? I mean, I could say, what if I have some deathly illness, and then we all find out later about it, and we make.
I would
fun
feel
of,
terrible.
Yeah. You know what I think it's time for?
What do we got?
What are you talking about?
I think we want a story of the week.
Oh, let's get into it.
Well, all right then.
Story of the
Back into it. All right, story of the week.
Let's
Well,
get back, deep and back.
deep, back and deep.
Guys,
All right,
I
now-
think we
no,
all
this
need
is
to get
bad.
back every once in a while.
So going back now, the story last week that I described in Germany. I described
the
a story
this is
that
the third
occurred in
episode. So
in
that
Germany.
was a couple weeks ago.
That was a couple weeks ago. Well, it reminded me of something else that happened that kind of blew my hypochondriac brain. And I was at Mission Burrito, which is this
What do they sell there?
It's like a Mexican
I know,
fast
good
food
one.
chain.
So like,
Keep going.
They
It might
do
get
sell
funny if you keep
burritos,
going.
and that's what I purchased.
okay,
It's weird to say you purchased.
you purchased a burrito.
A food.
Yeah,
a
purchased.
food.
Yes. I'll take a food.
I'll take one.
I'd like to
food.
purchase one of your foods.
What
So
accent was that?
It started off as Indian, and then I thought it would be offensive, so I changed.
good job.
Yeah, and it should have been Mexican,
You know
really,
what?
shouldn't it?
That's not offensive.
Should have been Mexican.
Because it almost was. Okay, let's.
I ordered a veggie burrito, a
Purchased?
Mission burrito. I purchased a veggie burrito.
Mm.
You know, sometimes I like to play it safe. I'm like,
You went
This
safe."
place doesn't look too clean.
I
want
don't
meat.
feel like rehydrated beef.
Yeah, I don't.
Yes.
I don't feel like carne asada that's bloody.
Joaquin Phoenix. Sorry.
So I got a veggie burrito, and I don't. By the way, I don't think this Mission burrito is open anymore.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear the story.
So I
After today.
finish my almost finish my meal. I get to the end of the burrito.
Coming up
and
to the
I'm-
end of that burrito.
I'm like on the last couple bites,
What's gonna happen?
and put that last bite on the fork, start chewing.
On the fork.
He's a sophisticated burrito eater.
Burrito with the fork.
Yeah,
I'm
nice.
that's
doing
the
this.
move.
It was a,
Oh, wow.
it was
You
a
were
big,
doing that.
like baby-sized burrito.
That's how it looks.
He is a man. He doesn't eat.
I like how
burrito
you
with
move
his
your
hands.
fork
He
as much
eats
as
a
your knife.
and
It must
fork.
be hard to ever eat if that's how you.
Yeah, the fork is
Yeah, they're both in
scraping
motion.
sounds.
Yeah.
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 Anyway,
So last bite, I think, and I start chewing on something that texturally doesn't add up, like with the
What?
rest of the burrito. And at first my mind goes to, oh, it's like it feels like wax paper, like when they cook on wax paper in kitchens,
Maybe.
like
Yes.
sheets of wax paper. I'm like,
Still maybe not fun.
I'm like, okay, that wouldn't be that big of a deal. And then
Oh.
I just. And like I said, I'd eaten the whole burrito. At
And
this
it's in your
point.
mouth.
This whatever this is in my mouth.
Oh.
And I spit it out. It's a dirty Band-Aid. Dirty Band-Aid. And
No, burrito. No.
no,
okay,
that could have been. I mean, that could have been bad. I mean,
I could have gotten. My
that could have.
mind.
I mean, think about all the
I'm sorry you-
transfusions that could have occurred.
You should have sued
in
them.
that.
Well, I'll tell you what happened, but I
Mission burrito, everyone.
don't freaking go there.
Don't
That
go
place
there.
is gross.
That
And
is.
I think
well,
that
what-
location closed.
For anyone, that's a horrible experience.
Yeah,
Let
but
alone
for
someone like
for me,
you.
What happened? Did you shut down?
It was almost too much to the point where I kind of went into this state of like very few words, like using very few words, and I went to the cash register. I wasn't gonna shout.
I honestly couldn't think of
even-
someone worse that it could happen to.
I didn't even want to swallow. I was
Yeah.
like, and I
So you went up to the counter and you went.
no, I said something to the effect of. I went up to the cashier. I said something like,
What do you say?
I said, hey man, can you come over to my table?
Oh wow! So you were very polite about this.
Yeah, I didn't
situation.
go, there's a rat in my shit or something like that. But they
Which
did
would have been weird.
That
seeing
would have
there
been
was a
odd
Band-Aid in your
considering the
burrito.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a good move.
That was a good call. Yeah.
So he walks over. I just like point at the thing. I go, yeah, that was in my burrito, this Band-Aid. And he just
cut
goes,
yourself recently, dude.
oh, very nonchalantly, like, oh. And I say, can I get my money back at least? He goes, yeah, exact change. He hands me back exact change. I'm like, dude, fuck this place.
You could have easily. You didn't even need to tell anybody.
I
you could
think
have
you
taken
can
a
still
picture, taken
sue
a
them.
video, and sued the shit out.
I
of
could've-
them.
Sued the shit out of them.
Contracted hepatitis or something like that. But the thing that bugs me a lot about that is that someone in the kitchen obviously realized probably pretty soon after
That their
a
Band-Aid had
Band-Aid
gone.
had fallen off their
And they
arm or
didn't-
their hand. And
Dude, that's so
they
disgusting.
didn't stop
actually is-
any food from
It's
going
actually
out.
made me feel ill thinking about how it happened, why it happened. Like, I mean, if you
How-
think about making a burrito anyway, and where it's horrible.
Can
I
ask
went
you-
home and like drank mouthwash.
I have some. I have some questions for you now
yeah.
about the aftermath.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to recover? How long were you scared to eat burritos? Were you constantly, or even food in general, were you thinking about in public places? Did it scar you a little bit? Like, I think I would be a little bit affected because for me, those kind of instances leave a sour taste in my mouth.
But it's such a 1 in a million thing, though. I
Yeah,
don't think
it was
he's gonna
so
be like,
it was so like god awful that I almost just, my mind shut off, and it thought about the implications, like, oh, could have hepatitis, something weird like that.
Yeah.
But I've, been to the doctor since then, and I've never tested positive for that.
I'd like to tell one story that I remember.
Is it from last week?
From way back when. No, it's not from last week.
Okay. Story from way back.
Go.
That's your brother.
Yes, it's my brother. It's about Alex, and it's just one of my favorites. And we were there.
Wait, what is this?
It reminds me of your story. Reminded me of it, and it's a funny one. And this is when I feel like I connected to you more, because I don't think that we'd ever meshed the conversation of hypochondria together. And I think after this day, we went, "Do you ever feel like you're dying?" And we were like, "Yes, dude!" And we bonded. It was like we were both very, very anxious about our health, and we were always feeling our balls every other day.
I have to say, I'm afraid to sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, there's going to be a lump.
Yeah,
You know, I'm the only one that actually has an actual testicle
You've said this
issue,
before
and
in the Dustin episode.
That's not true.
It's for people to. You have testicle issues?
Yeah,
I've
man.
had testicle issues.
I have an issue with my testicle on the daily.
Are they just imaginal or are they real?
Imaginal?
Well.
Wait, why are you
excuse
looking
me.
at me?
Okay, let me get back to this story.
I'm just saying, I've been to the hospital and I do have one ball larger than the other.
I just have an issue with my testicles in general. Like, I don't get on with them.
Well, you
have
know
had
what? You
periods,
are the cause of testicle problems, because you're the cause of my testicle pain, and that is the truth.
Did you kick him in the balls?
He did so many atrocities, but the main one that sent me to the hospital was a rogue tennis ball that he aimed at me, hit the floor at such an angle that the tennis ball trajectory sent my testicle into my stomach and
Into your stomach. Can I just say,
Terrible.
Do you think,
In
what
the
kind of
spine.
aim? What kind of aim do you think I have? Do you think I'm like robotic kind of?
Jonah,
like,
I don't think you meant to
I
aim
can
for my
aim,
left
lock
nut.
onto one
I don't think you
testicle.
meant to aim for that, but you threw it at me. Your throw was so bad it hit
kicked
the floor.
I
No,
kicked
you
it.
threw it.
No, I kicked it.
He threw it.
Anyway,
It was so bad you hit the floor first,
okay.
and I was sent to the hospital.
Okay.
My life has changed. I walk with a slight gait because that's a joke. It's not that big.
A
It's
slight gate.
Wait. Okay. So
carry on.
we were in Universal Studios. I'm wondering if this is ringing a bell. And we were on the.
Oh, okay, all right.
So we were on the tram tour, right, having a good time. And I don't know if anyone remembers. There was this King
It's still
Kong
there.
section. Is it still there?
Still there.
And the dinosaurs will kind of roar and spit at you.
Is that Jurassic Park, or is it on
No,
the?
it's on the King Kong.
Yeah, but King Kong, but he fights dinosaurs.
Oh, right.
And anyway,
What a dinosaur.
They spit-
You need to go into some voiceover acting. That was fantastic.
I'm concerned.
It's amazing.
ow.
Watch out. You're gonna be thinking about that later now.
Yes.
Local nodes.
I had noticed my cousin shortly. I noticed it at the end of the King Kong ride, and then for the rest of the duration of the
It was that bad.
of the thing. I just noticed him kind of going. He's going,
He was asking.
and then he was
for
going no, and then he
water
went and then he went. I saw him take out his gum, and he said, "Mom, do you have any water?" And she was like, "Yeah." And he downs this water, and then he's asking for more. It's like, "Do you have?" Like, I thought, this is strange, and then
I don't remember
and
all
then
this.
yeah, it was just like
You don't remember it?
I kind of remember
it
it
was
happening.
I remember that, but
No,
it was
no,
like
it
I
was-
noticed it.
Jonah's also an elaborator, so.
You calling him a liar?
hmm I mean, we shared a womb.
You want to go?
You have a scrap?
Because I'll hit it. Hit what? One of the things on your person.
Fuck you.
A
Let's go.
ball or two?
Yeah, maybe a testicle.
Put him up.
So he's there, and then
Get on with it.
I noticed, and then I asked, and I think I don't know who told me. I wish I could remember whether it was Alex that said it
said.
or Nikki. But what happened is some of the fake dinosaur saliva had landed directly into Alex's mouth, and he thought that he'd swallowed some.
Well, he did.
And then what he thought was, immediately afterwards, fuck, how dirty were those pipes?
Yeah.
And then he said he started feeling this reaction, and
I
he
think he thought it reacted to
he
the
had some
allergy tablets.
he
or
had
something
some
that he
medication.
had.
That's right. I was
Yes.
taking antibiotics.
He had some. Was it for the bee sting?
Yeah.
He had some antibiotics in his system, and then he said there's some kind of chemical. He thought from the
Reaction.
pipes because they
That's
might be
reacted
cleaning,
to the
they might be
antibiotic.
cleaning the water or something for these dinosaur spit, and I'm gonna die. It's like some weird reaction that could never ever have
Be
been
predicted.
be predicted, and he thought he was dying, like shutting down. So he was trying to dilute the reaction from happening inside himself with
Holy
water.
shit, dude.
Yeah,
wow.
that's deep into the paranoia.
Wow. Yeah.
But it's so real when you feel it, because I related to that so much. And I have to say, I never told this to anyone, even probably to this day, until right now.
Not
Here's
sponsored
an
or-
exclusive.
Not sponsored or endorsed by Universal Studios Hollywood.
After that, this is my hypochondria kicking in. I don't think any went into my mouth or anywhere near me, but then I started getting a dry mouth and thinking I hadn't had any
The
antibiotics.
placebo effect.
But I just thought the same thing, and I didn't tell anyone, but I started going.
The placebo effect. The amount of conversations throughout our life. I mean, I always talk about it's the cousins, me, Alex, Jonah, and Tash. Natasha's Alex's sister. Growing up, they would come to England. We would go to Los Angeles, and we were just a team, and we did a lot of stuff together. But growing up, Alex and Jonah, starting from very young, would have these conversations where one of them would say, does this ever happen to you at night when you think that this is dying and this lung is collapsing?
This
and
is dying.
happening?
This is dying.
Wait, you know what I'm saying? Does that ever happen to you? And one would say, yes, that happens to me. And does this happen to you when this happens? And I'm like,
We're not both American.
This is happening. And the other goes, yeah, that happens to me too.
No, we're
And
not
I
both
would say-
American. One of them needs to be British.
and then I would say, does this ever happen to you? And you do this, and we're all together, we're a family, and we all do the same things, and it's funny. And they both stare at me blankly and go, no, that doesn't happen to me. And I've got strings playing in my head, and I'm going to sit in the corner, and I suddenly realise that I'm not a hypochondriac, and I really want to be.
Now you are.
Now I am.
I think
But for
There is-
years, you guys, especially connected with similar, even now to this day, similar thought patterns.
Very similar.
I've got a
Similar
question. I have a
things.
really interesting question now to pose. Do you think that hypochondria is contagious?
You mean, is it a learned or is it an inherent?
Because that's the way I put it, in a more
Problem.
dramatic way. Contagious, maybe, because I think
I'm proof.
the very idea of that kind of paranoia, like, and the way that it, like, just hearing people talk about it, like Christian, I feel like he took it on a little bit with this podcast.
Yeah. I think that it is all a matter of your surroundings and perception. And for example, like one of our previous guests, Kevin, talked about his mother being a nurse, being a part of the fact that he was a
episode
hypochondriac.
2, I remember it well.
So I do think it can be learned. I think some of it may be inherited. I think
Nature
we
versus nurture.
definitely inherit certain brain chemistry from our parents and from
really?
their
We-
ancestry.
for sure.
100%.
I was
100%.
being sarcastic.
Yeah.
But I also think some of it is learned. For example, I honestly do believe that in no way scornful by the fact that you guys may have turned me into a hypochondriac. But people tell me that I was a hypochondriac.
Welcome to the club, guys. Hey, look, if
Welcome
you're not
to the
a
club,
hypochondriac
guys.
yet,
Welcome to the club.
we'll change that.
We need you to be
Hey.
a hypochondriac.
You sitting there, all not worried about shit.
Should I be looking at the camera or at the
camera.
Check your prostate now.
Hey, are you sure you're okay? Are you sure?
Feel that ball. What's
Are
that
you
lump?
sure? And even when you're sure, you can't always
Be sure.
be that
Even
sure.
if you feel good, sometimes symptoms don't kick in until you're already too late.
But
dead.
for real, if you think you have a problem, don't listen to us.
if
Go
you
to
do,
a doctor.
yeah, maybe
Yeah,
doctors.
listen to the disclaimer.
But you're probably not well. Get it checked.
Get with it.
All right, let's take a quick break. Hello and welcome back.
Welcome.
Hope you enjoyed the sponsor.
Yes.
I like that. I personally love that. purchasable thing.
I don't know the percentage of listeners. I don't know the gender percentage. I know there's many, the demographic, but
There's probably only about 3 of them. So.
Now you can contact us at ourlastpodcast@gmail.com and all the social medias. But I'd like to know if this is just a male issue. I have a feeling that this is just a male issue that we're going to be discussing, but it is the issue of Shooty-Ass Pain.
I was going to say it together.
Didn't Ricky Gervais call it that?
Ricky Gervais called it that, and I think men are primarily the only ones that complain. It probably it probably then has something to do with the prostate, but I haven't heard women complain about it.
So let's ask the audience, if you have ever experienced Shooty-Ass Pain, male, female, or other, please write in and let us know.
Well, let's describe it first
go into this, because it's a thing that would randomly happen to me, and I didn't really ever think much of it.
Strike
at any time.
And for the first time, honestly, for a long time, before I saw that Ricky Gervais thing, I thought I was the only person who experienced it.
I thought it was like some weird cramp or basically what it is. It's like you said, it can happen at any time, and it's a very sharp, sudden, like series of like shocks.
There's
in
usually a full
your
shock.
anus.
And it shoots up.
That actually completely take you out of commission. If you're in the middle of a sentence, if you're in the middle of any action, no, you can't continue. It just sounds like this. You're talking. You go.
You kind of feel like it does.
That's what it sounds like.
You kind of feel like you're dying. And it's like you kind of tense up for a second. No, sometimes it's that bad once, and I'm not lying to you.
It's a sharp pain.
I'm not lying to you.
It's a sharp
once,
pain.
it's brought me to my knees.
I've never had it that.
I've literally
never had it that
had
bad.
once, and then I was speaking to someone, and I was
like Jesus Christ in Jesus Christ Superstar in Gethsemane.
Brought me to my knees. Yeah.
Usually, always
my mind is clearer now. So I started singing afterwards.
To me,
it like enlightened me afterwards.
Always usually happens. Usually always happens, I should say.
After
in
butt sex.
Yes. Usually always happens in public.
Right.
Like I'm out at some event.
never alone.
I'm at a restaurant. No, I'm never alone.
I've had it when I'm alone.
I'll have an initial like warning
in public.
Like, oh, here's the 4 shot.
I'm so happy you said that.
Christian, you're touching the banana on the mic, and it's affecting my.
I'm so happy you said that. There is a warning.
There's a warning sign. You go, this is about to go down.
Shooty-Ass
It's like this. It's like a little. And you're like,
tightness.
oh god.
Yeah, it's like it almost feels like a sharp like.
But only a little one.
Only a slight pain, and then you're like, all right, I'm in for it here. And I remember the last time I had it.
Everybody's sphincters listening is now contracting.
I was at a Grammy party or something the last time it happened. I was just walking around like sipping on my whiskey or whatever, and I felt like the first pang of what was about to happen.
I had it like
I couldn't walk. You always do the thing where you try and like just brush it off, and you're walking around. You're like, that's
sharp pain in the anus.
You start walking like.
Yeah, it's
like
awful.
You have to
and then
kind of
after
shake
it's
it
gone,
off.
you kind of just like.
Has anyone else had this? If you have,
and if you're a woman, I specifically want to know.
If you're a woman.
Hang on.
And if you're a woman,
I was speaking to the collective.
if you're a woman,
Just
If
take
you're
out
a
either
collective.
A or make the women woman. Okay.
Just letting them choose.
I had it with my girlfriend Nicole recently. I don't know if you remember that, Nicole, when we were walking to your car.
Oh, it's
I
nice
think I
that
was
you're that
walking-
open.
I was walking. Yeah, I was walking. Well, it was. I had to mention it. I was gonna try and brush over it, but she'd heard me. I think kind of go. Oh. And she went, "Are you okay?" She looked back, and I was looking to the car, and I was like, "Have you heard of Shooty-Ass Pain?"
Yeah,
Have you
seriously,
heard?
it
Until it
makes
goes.
it difficult to speak.
And
I
then,
can just imagine the red flags going through Nicole's head, like,
who am I with? What am I
okay,
doing?
Maybe this is a bad decision.
She should have got in the car, locked the doors, and ran.
You enjoy the Shooty-Ass
It's nothing to
Pain.
be ashamed of. Men, women, other. If you have Shooty-Ass Pain, you don't be ashamed.
No,
Actually,
please write in.
If
or
there are
call
any
in.
doctors around
Yeah.
that are listening to this, I'm curious.
We
what
wanna
the
know.
hell is this?
Yeah,
We
if
wanna
there
know
is
what
a
it
medical
is.
Is it a
professional
prostate
listening,
thing?
I'm thinking actually we have a guest
It's like
line.
a shooting thing.
But just to segue, we have a guest lined up for next week. That is actually.
Is she actually?
She's kind of confirmed. We'll see. But medical professional,
Who's that?
neuroscientist.
Oh, on the phone. Over
Her
the
name
phone.
is Anastasia. She's going to be calling in, hopefully. But I'm looking forward to that because
Anastasia.
as like our disclaimer says,
What is
we
she?
are not
Quantum
medical-
physicist.
quantum
far
physicist, and she also, because
she
of
know
that
about the-
knowledge, deals with therapy, and she's an amazing woman. She has her own system and this whole set of cards that helps, and we could be cured next week
From Shooty-Ass Pain.
from hypochondria. I mean,
Guys, that might be our last.
But so make sure you
last.
tune in, because we will be speaking to some medical professionals. But if there's any listening that can weigh in, anybody that's had Shooty-Ass Pain, just write us at ourlastpodcast@gmail.com or
You can't speak.
hey, what are you
you
talking
okay?
about? No, that's your ears.
Listen,
that was perfect.
No, dude, no, I heard it too.
And before he said any listening
in our last podcast, he didn't even say at Gmail. He just goes, our last podcast.
Okay, but it's regardless of
Yeah,
my
last podcast.
speech error. The Instagrams and the Twitters are coming down there. You can please get in touch with us, and you can call
They're
in.
Scrolling by.
Scrolling by.
So I will say,
Scrolling by
I've
the
had
darker
one friend, and I won't name
one
her
friend?
just in case.
That's interesting. Doesn't surprise me.
I won't name her
but
just in case she doesn't want to be named. But she told me
Last time Jonah did that, when I was telling a story and tried not to name someone, Jonah said their full name with the first and last letter switched.
it's foolproof.
It's not really foolproof.
She said she claimed to have had it, but I didn't know whether she was trying to. But she said she had it front-ways. And I said that sounds like a different problem.
That doesn't, yeah.
But and I think there was a couple guys on
that,
set who were
unfortunately,
saying,
is not Shooty-Ass Pain.
no, but she said she had a shooting pain.
It is a different issue.
Just once?
No, I asked, was there foreshocks? And she said yes.
I would implore her to get it seen to.
Yeah.
But Shooty-Ass Pain, no.
I mean,
Did she? I mean, why did you bring it up if it wasn't Shooty-Ass
The men were
Pain?
talking about it.
That
so-
is shooty
and
vaginal
what's so
pain.
interesting is that not all of these guys.
Sorry to
here-
be so blatant.
yeah, no, but it's a different thing.
It's a different thing. Different orifice,
but
mate.
we were asking because it was so interesting because all of these men right here have had it, but when in the group that we were with, half of the men had never heard of it.
They're insecure.
Some of them
Don't know what for.
and some of them.
Oh, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah, it was a 1D reference, and
Why?
some of them had it and never heard about it before, and they were comforted by that. Oh my god, I've had that too.
You have had that? Yeah,
But-
yeah.
I
None of the
guarantee
women.
you, the other men were being silent. They were ashamed.
No. Really, it's not all men have this.
Uh-huh.
I looked up the statistics. I think it's like about.
Wait, there's
30s.
info about this
Yeah.
online?
Well, you
Just
know what I'd like to
Shooty-Ass
point out?
Pain?
Are you a man? If you haven't had Shooty-Ass Pain, debatable.
Look out.
We're coming.
You're missing this vital
Oh, I'm
Part
not
of
even
manhood.
joking. I had a little foreshock just then.
bulb bullshit.
I swear to God,
Placebo effect.
Yeah.
I had a
100%.
foreshock.
Well, go on.
Is
Go
it
on then.
About to occur?
Let's happen. Come on.
Is it imminent?
I'll try and induce one.
The 2020 ass quake.
I think if we meditate, and ask for Shooty-Ass Pain, if I say I am Shooty-Ass Pain, I might be able to induce one.
Why would you want that?
No, I'll do it
You know
later.
what? Let's talk about the placebo effect for a minute, because I'm so interested in the placebo effect. Neither of us are professionals.
Stop eating the banana. Stop eating the banana.
Have a
You can't fucking
banana.
speak.
Bum. No, I'd like to talk about the placebo effect for a minute. None of us are professionals. But I've always been interested in the placebo effect. I've always been interested in the law of attraction. Who, by the way, that next guest next week is a complete expert on. But so we'll ask her about the placebo effect. But to our own knowledge, it's definitely not philosophy. There's certain people that think but it's actually scientific.
The way
fact.
I understand our brains is that we're creating most of our diseases anyway, so why not be able to create the cure with the power of the mind and thinking that
Yes.
what we've taken is helping us in some way. Honestly, a doctor has told me that the act of medicating yourself, the act of knowing that this thing is going to help you is more than half of what helps you.
Yeah.
Just believing that this kind of what you're putting inside of yourself. If you knew the pill wasn't going to help, that's the whole reason. That's where the placebo came from. They wanted to see how much was
came
your
from
mind.
giving some
you sugar
patients,
pills,
some
yeah.
people real pills, some people sugar pills, and the effects were the same, if not better.
And I remember watching a documentary years ago, and it's incredible. They
Healing?
have
Is
the
it called Healing on Netflix?
Healing? No, that's a different one. It's fantastic. You should watch that. Healing on Netflix, or Heal. It's called Heal on
Heal.
Netflix. But this was about the placebo effect. they scanned the person's brain that took the sugar pill and the person's brain that didn't. And the medication, the person who took the real medication, that you see the chemicals do its thing, and the person who took the sugar pill, you watch the brain, this is no shit, form the same
Chemicals, yeah.
more effective than the medication, and
Fixed itself.
yeah, and it just fixed it. You watch the placebo effect in
We
action.
do. I mean, we're healing
Wow.
beings, aren't we? I mean, if you cut yourself, we do heal.
You're supposed to, yeah. No, if you think
and-
about it, we should, apart from chopping off limbs and things, I read this thing recently about giving birth. Women rip themselves open. That's one of the only openings in the human body that is designed to reform. Like it rips apart and then it reforms. Like that, if anything, should be proved. That's fucking amazing.
It's pretty gnarly.
It's good. Yeah.
It's good.
We watched this comedian, didn't we, recently? And he said something about, he's like,
Yeah,
if anyone
it's
calls
good.
me, he said, if anyone calls me a
It was
pussy
too
now, I'm going to be
graphic.
like,
we didn't
thank
need the
you.
hands.
Anyway,
Anyway,
that's like an amazing thing.
I think I saw that.
No, this was, well, I don't know whether he stole this from someone else, but this was like, we saw this
The
live
point-
recently in
I've
Vegas.
definitely heard
the,
someone
the point I'd like to make about
say
the
that
placebo effect
before.
and everything is like, let's break up the word disease. It specifically means
Bob Proctor.
dis-ease.
Quote Bob Proctor. Give
And
that him credit
Is
for
it
that.
Bob Proctor?
Yeah, it wasn't you. Let's not pretend that you just did that.
Well, I'm not. I'm just saying it's the word dis-ease. And doctors know for a fact that most illness derives from stress. Most. So
It's
let's
not
think
all,
about
but
let's think about that. The quote "laughter is the best medicine" has validity to it, because I think, and that's why I'm kind of worried about being a hypochondriac.
That's
No,
why
no.
we're here, guys, to laugh.
Yes.
It's true. No, but this is therapeutic to laugh about it. But also it is. It should be known that, and it should be taught that our minds is one of the most powerful assets we have in any situation.
Here's what I will say to help you not worry
Okay,
about.
here's what you will interrupt.
Yes. I'm just wanting to help you not worry
Sure,
about
go
being
ahead, mate.
a hypochondriac.
Yeah, just interrupt.
Okay.
Fuck both of
Thank you. Yes.
I was the one that was interrupted then.
Yes. I wanted to help you out, not be worried about being a hypochondriac.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's actually a good thing.
Thank you.
You know why? You're aware of it, and the very fact of you being aware that you are a hypochondriac lets you know that you aren't thinking straight. What would be more worrying is if you didn't have that label to kind of constantly go back to and go, this is just me being fucking
I understand.
overthinking.
it.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
'Cause then it would feel more real, because now we've labeled ourselves as this. We can I always come back to this pain I'm feeling in my chest. This pain, it will engulf me for maybe a week or so at most, and then I'll come back to I'm being a fucking idiot.
Well, it's you know, for example, you know the diseases out there that are labeled as incurable. I don't specifically agree with that being told to, as much as it is at that point a medical fact. I don't agree with the mentality that might occur being diagnosed with such an illness, because
I personally
I don't
believe
think
that-
it's conducive to healing, and sometimes the actual act of telling someone that what they have is incurable is
what makes it incurable.
what makes it incurable.
You've heard the incredible stories on those amazing those
people that have decided, who get incurable illnesses, deciding themselves that it is curable and that they will be cured, actually are the weird
cure
anomaly.
Guys, we need to get to a hospital.
We do
now.
need to get to hospital. Quick! Someone come in. David!
What's the word?
He's dying.
Anomaly. They are the medical anomalies.
I tell you what.
because they
No.
believed and they willed. They said, "I'm healthy," and every day, of so many cases of this, every day, prayer like almost every night, every morning. Thank you for my healing.
I believe-
Thank you for
but
my
I
healing.
belie-
and the doctors go, "I don't know.
I honestly believe that's the way I think. Call me crazy, but those people.
You're crazy."
Thank you. Those people are anomalies because it sounds crazy, but I think you really have touched on a good point there, which sounds crazy. Doctors should tell people what they've got
Thank
going
you.
on and all this stuff. But if you watch the documentary Heal, people
There's a
have
book too. It's based on a
have
book.
reversed cancer quicker than any chemotherapy. There was a guy who was in a plane crash who
Told he wouldn't
couldn't
walk,
walk,
wouldn't
couldn't
speak.
talk, and he just believed.
That's from the
From the secret. He envisioned his healing. This stuff is incredible.
I hope you guys grow up, to have beautiful boys, 2 handsome, beautiful boys, and they get their legs taken away from them. Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that. He's like, I've got a knife in my leg. And I can't walk. He's like, Ricky, you can walk.
Blood.
You can walk.
No, but what do you, Alex? I want to hear your thoughts on this. I want to hear your thoughts on this because Alex, I think it's fair to say,
I think you need to take a break and stop
He's a
talking.
little bit more of an intellectual and reads a little more, and I don't mind saying that. And he has a strong vocabulary. I'd like to know your stance on not whether you believe in placebo effect, but what you think about it, and what you also think about our powers to heal ourselves, and also our powers to give ourselves illness.
Yeah, Alex, talk to us about everything you know.
Everything.
Everything. Yeah, I talk like this.
Everything. Good job, man.
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank
So I
you.
talk like this
Yeah,
for the rest
thank
of the
you.
time.
What'd you talk like that for?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, you're so sexy, Lisa.
All right, hi, doggy.
Oh, hi, doggy.
This
Okay.
will be cut.
All right.
I did not hear. I did not. This is
If this
bullshit.
is not- if
You're
it's not
tearing
cut-
me apart,
If
Lisa.
this is not
hi,
cut, I
Mark.
probably didn't edit this episode. Just a little.
hi, Mark.
My thoughts on the placebo effect. Well, there definitely is. There have been many studies on the effects of stress on the body
Yeah.
and how that ends up, correlating to disease.
Mm-hmm. People with very stressful jobs.
I do. I mean, whether you dig into the science of it or not, which I haven't done a whole lot.
Which is what this woman
why?
ended up with.
Yeah, in terms of the correlation of mindset and the law of attraction
Mhm.
and how that affects your physical
body.
nature.
Yeah.
But you can't deny the aspect of creating your own reality
Yeah.
and how strong of an effect it has on how you end up living your life.
Yes.
And
Totally agree.
in that way, it's like if you've convinced yourself of something, even if it's not like we're talking
have
about,
talked about this.
a couple weeks ago with
Yeah.
neuroses,
Mm-hmm.
or the we brought up the patient of Jung's
Mm-hmm.
who was delusional. He had the delusion that he was sick with cancer. He was dying of cancer.
Yep.
Had everything checked out. The doctors told him you're totally 100% clean, and he was still convinced there was something in his head that told
Yep.
him he had cancer, and that was his reality. Just it didn't matter what the physical reality was. The mind was more of a reality to him.
Yes.
Um,
You
and-
are what you think.
Yeah. And if you think about it, it's all, we've talked about this before as well. Everything, no matter if it's physical or we're thinking about some, there's some
Imaginary.
thing going on. It's all being processed in the
It's
same
all
place.
happening in the same place. What's the distinction?
It's all being processed.
Well, that's
in the
why-
same
Neville
place.
Goddard talks about the closing your eyes. This is way back in the 30s and 40s. He would do these seminars, and he'd talk about imagine holding a baseball. Close your eyes now and imagine holding a baseball. Can you feel the texture? Can you feel the weight? What is the difference?
Well,
now
here's the
imagine
thing.
holding a tennis ball.
Here's the thing.
If it's different, what makes it any less
quantum
real?
physics will tell you that they put the little pads on your head, the little sticky things on your head,
Right.
Those sucking sounds.
and the
are
sucking things.
great.
Yeah, and they the same neurons fire for when you're imagining the race,
Yep.
and then as when you're running the
Yeah,
race.
yeah.
And that's because our mind can't tell the difference from when we're remembering something, from when we're experiencing so-called present reality, or whether we're in an imaginary future, because it's all processed in the same place. It's all
Albert Einstein.
Did you just get a text?
Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions.
Yeah, yeah.
Albert Einstein.
We
Who's
talked about the story of going back to Jung, because he spoke so much on this particular subject, distinguishing the psychic reality and
Big up
physical
Jung.
reality.
Young.
And
Do you say that?
he had a student who ended up being a very famous proponent of Jungian psychology. Her name was Marie Louise von France, I think was her name. And she,
Oh, yeah.
Where's she from?
Switzerland. She was Swiss German. And she described the first time she met Jung, and he was telling a story of a schizophrenic patient, and she was asking him about the schizophrenic patient, and at one point Jung says, yes, she had this episode where she said a demon got a hold of her and dragged her to the moon. They went to the moon.
Wow.
And I don't remember the other details, but Jung told her in a very matter-of-fact way she went to the moon. And Marie kind of looked at him like, is this guy crazy? What the hell is he talking
Of course
about?
she didn't go to the moon. No, I'm playing her. I'm being...
Oh, okay, I was going to say.
Of course she didn't go to the moon.
She didn't go to the moon. What are you
talking about, Carl?
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah,
Jung,
exactly
get
like
a
that.
grip.
Get a grip, dude.
What do you think?
The moon? Nobody go to the moon ever.
I can't get there. It's too far.
It's in
No,
space.
well, that's too far. I don't have technology.
Sorry, this is
like
a really intellectual story, and we're
Well, it's about to end, and it's basically the next thing that happened was Marie was talking to another one of, I think, Jung's students, and they said something to the effect of, it'll take you 10 years to process everything or certain things you heard today. And it did. It took her a long time.
But I see, because of what he
Was saying, the effect, and she didn't process it at the time, but she did years later realize what he was saying, and what he meant by that was the psychic reality is the real reality, because that's where everything is processed.
She did go to the moon.
She went to the moon.
Yeah.
In that sense, because she experienced it as such.
That's why, if you've been there in the mind, you'll go there in reality.
That's really the thing.
Per se, or you could do.
Mm-hmm. And that's the whole thing. I love, that Abraham.
You'll never
hits.
be
You took me
anywhere.
onto her.
You'll never be anywhere without being there first in the mind.
And people, and that's the whole thing is like when you're constantly projecting yourself into the future and saying, I need this, I want this. You highlight the lack of that. The way to do it is to feel the feelings of having certain things, and that's to link it into hypochondria. That's why I was saying I think it's good to be aware of the label. I think it's good because it makes it less real for me, and I have that to come back on. If I didn't have the label of hypochondriac, it would be more of a thing. If I didn't know this existed, if this word didn't
completely
exist,
agree, but
and this podcast didn't exist, I think that I would be in a worse place.
Yes, but my point was that we are living in a present that is the result. We are here as a result of our past thoughts and actions, okay?
Yeah.
So that's my point. And my point is...
How long has that banana taken to eat? Like, you've been eating that banana for like an hour.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jonah Lees, king of distractions, interruptions, and irrelevant shit. I'm halfway through making a point. Jesus. Have a banana.
Yes.
Fuck, I was on a... My point is being a hypochondriac part of the reason we may develop an illness? Because we are living in the present moment. We are here because of our past thoughts and actions. We dreamt up this podcast, right? We are now here because of a conversation, because of us imagining that we would.
Okay, Alex, what do you think? Because were you hearing what I was saying? I was saying...
I heard what you were saying, and I don't disagree. I think it is a help to have the label.
Right, exactly.
It is a help.
I think
but I'm not arguing. I'm posing also the proposition that is it detrimental to us?
No, I believe that we create every illness that we have.
We create everything.
So yes, and no. I think the hypochondriac thing is keeping that in check. Like it's like a good cycle, because I said it before and I said it again. It's the same answer to your question.
Say it again.
I think that label is really helping me personally.
I will say it's like,
Al?
unless you if you're implying that you can somehow get rid of that,
live without illness.
Either live without
the
illness
paranoia
or live without the paranoia. I don't think it can happen unless there's some transformative event. And I actually think, going back to kind of what we were talking about earlier, if traumatic experiences happen in one's life, like let's say there is some deathly illness or some very scary health scare
with death
that comes along, that can definitely instigate hypochondria or neurosis or something like that.
Then what kind of moment would instigate the opposite?
The opposite, maybe some
enlightenment,
some instance where
hang on, let me finish.
Yeah.
What if it's the kind of thing where there's a germaphobe, and the germaphobe, accidentally eats something off the floor. He realizes food has been handed to him, and days later, that person realizes the food had been picked up off the floor and handed to him and nothing happened. And you know, maybe something like that can trigger or help with the paranoia. I don't know. I don't know if you can ever get rid of it, but
I would argue.
I think anything's
You know,
possible.
you said before, some traumatic experience, some awful health kind of diagnosis that you've got some awful disease or something. You were talking about how that might trigger hypochondria. I actually think the opposite. You said what would do the opposite. I think just that. I think facing maybe an actual serious illness, an actual problem, because hypochondria is birthed from always thinking it's on the way, always thinking that you have it. And I think that maybe it sounds stupid, but that's one of the ways it might be cured. Actually facing either you or someone you love.
Yeah, don't disagree.
Because then what happens is, people have discussed it many times before, losing someone or being close to losing someone or yourself can
Puts
give you
things
that
into
awakening.
perspective,
And
yeah.
then you hear people go, I realized how stupid the shit I was worrying about was.
Yeah.
Puts
How
things into
mundane.
perspective.
Like, and small my worries actually were.
Yeah.
I think that's just the kind of thing that can eradicate
you're right.
those worries.
I think it can go either way.
Yeah.
I think
Either
it can
way.
go
Yeah.
either way.
I think, honestly, the period of time in which you haven't had a serious illness perpetuates hypochondria.
Yeah.
Because you're just waiting for something to happen.
I totally agree. And I also think...
Let's get sick, guys.
Yeah.
It's the way out of hypochondria.
I know. I also think that the other way is very deep, very back. The other way is because I've been listening to a lot of Eckhart Tolle, makes me realize that we are what we identify as. And in essence, it is a choice, because
our identity
all
is
of
so
us,
important.
all of us as a collective, each one of us individually identifies as an American, Southern Californian musician.
The question, who are you, is important.
Who are you?
Yeah.
British, actor, twin, hypochondriac. These are labels we give ourselves, but the truth of the matter is, all we are is a collective consciousness. We are an energy.
Yeah.
We are the same atoms and vibrations and the space between this table. And we're all connected. And so I would argue that...
We are nothing and everything at the same time.
I would argue that this is for ourselves. We give ourselves an identity. We give ourselves a reason to live. We give ourselves every single label that we identify with. And... it's almost a choice. So if there's something that you're not happy with, if there's an element of your life that you wish you weren't, or that you wish people didn't see you as, there is a choice to be made.
The trick is not having any labels at all. It's scary at first, but when you realize, even the name that you give yourself is constrictive almost in a way. Like, I am Jonah Lees, I'm a hypochondria, I am like bad at maths, I'm like good at this, I'm like,
These are all learned
You put
things.
constraints on what you can be.
We're just boundless potential. At anyone, tomorrow I could be someone completely different.
100%.
There's a I know we probably have to kind of wrap
Yeah.
this all up, but there's
do.
when I was in Europe, I was reading a lot of Nietzsche. I still do, but I came across something while I was in
Nietzsche
Europe.
preacher.
Nietzsche. Hey. There's
hashtag
hashtag
Nietzsche preacher.
There you go. It'd be funny to see what happens. But
One.
I think this guy's name is John Kaag, and he's a writer, and he wrote a book called Hiking with Nietzsche, and it's basically his personal experience with interpreting Nietzsche's philosophy and having it benefit his life.
Wow.
In a practical way. And towards the end of the book, he has these realizations. He writes about these realizations he has, and he talks about Nietzsche's idea of Übermensch. Have you heard of this?
Nope.
Superman.
Yeah.
Thus
Only through
spoke
you.
Zarathustra is the book, the famous book.
No,
that,
if you can tell me quickly.
so basically, Übermensch is like Nietzsche's, what it's commonly known to be is Nietzsche's ideal version of man. And it's like seen, he saw it as an evolutionary next step that man had to
Übermensch.
strive for. And the translation from German is, it's Superman, but it can also mean overman,
And
or
he's talking about mankind.
he's talking about mankind, and the German word is Übermensch. Kind of an ambiguous term, but a lot of it, people think has to do with self-stylizing. Like, what do we want to be? What do we want to attain as man going forward? What is ape to man? And how, and do we look at ourselves as being at the pinnacle, the apex of human development? Nietzsche says no. But what John ended up interpreting or pointing out was this. He said you can interpret it in another way, which doesn't have anything to do with self-stylizing. It has to do with letting old parts of oneself die.
Yes.
And he says to become oneself, because one of Nietzsche's most haunting phrases is become who you are.
Yes.
And John, this writer, said maybe becoming, what Nietzsche's saying is becoming who one is involves not knowing who you are.
Yes.
Allowing,
and accepting the scary reality that we don't know.
You don't know. Letting your false self die, letting unnecessary habits die.
That's so powerful.
Getting out of your own way. That's what it means to be
That's
Uberman.
so powerful.
Connecting what Eckhart Tolle says at the start of The Power of Now is his realization before being suicidal. He had an enlightenment in which the sentence that was going through his head the night he was going to suicide is, I can't live with myself.
I can't live
with
with
which
myself.
created the duality of, is
Who
there
is the
two
me
of
that
me?
can't live with myself?
Who is that me that can't live with myself?
he
Is there two of me?
And he realized that there's the observer, who is the consciousness aware of our thoughts, and then the idea that you are not your thoughts.
You're not
you
your
are the
thoughts.
observer. And once
that
you
part
feel
of
that,
him
that's
died.
you, and that's all you are.
The ego
When
died.
I read that part, I was so scared I had to put the book down.
Yeah, it's a big
for a
realization.
second, and
trying to find
I
the
really
quote.
didn't want to lose my identity for a second. I was really scared.
Yeah.
And at first it's scary, but afterwards that's liberating.
It is.
To let go of all that, and I think that's what we
I
should.
I would very much recommend The Power of Now. I haven't read A
Nietzsche
New
stuff.
Earth yet, and
Jung.
Nietzsche is a lot of his philosophy is very misunderstood, but that phrase, that saying,
I think
really
this is
stood
a
out
good
to
place to wrap up, because
we've
talked
got
about
to a deep back place.
but we talked about the label of hypochondria, and I think where I'd like to wrap up is actually, I think it would be a nice idea to allow ourselves to let go of all of it. The any labels that we have, the hypochondriac label, the name, the good at this, bad at this, all of it, and revel in the uncertainty and the unknowingness that we don't know shit.
Yeah.
Wow. I'll find the exact
We'll
same.
read the quote
We'll
at the
post it. Yeah.
Yes, we'll that quote is coming to you.
Stay tuned.
Now, if it's a podcast, we'll have someone read it, and if it's on YouTube, we'll just put it up there.
Thank you guys for listening. Have a beautiful evening, morning, Saturday,
Whatever time it
weekend,
is.
midday, breakfast, whatever you're doing. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time on probably our last podcast.
Little
if there
bitch.
is a next time, get with it.
Get with it.
If you have
A
minor discomfort in your upper chest,
and you
immediately assume it's a cardiac arrest. Oh, doctor, please give me an answer. Got this pain in my left ball and I just know that it's cancer.
know that it's cancer.
Now all of our doctors are feeling harassed, so this is probably our last
Sounds like pneumonia.
probably our last podcast.